Welcome to the Other Side Pod. I'm Nadine. We're not experts. We're just humans having a human experience we think you can learn from, or relate to, or laugh at, or cry over. So hit download, dive in, and hear how folks found themselves on the other side. We're recording. Okay, my first question for Ashley. When you're developing a recipe for honeys, do you have some music on in the background? And if so, what is your go-to? Like, what's your song or your album?
I need to have 100% focus. I need it to be completely silent. Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't taste
Because you,
I can't taste it as well if there's loud music.
oh my God, this is why it's so good. Look at the focus. This is why Honey's ice cream, it kills me. And it only kills me because you're in Toronto and I'm in Ottawa. And I have, much to, I think, your displeasure, but like I've snuck it back and let it melt in the
That's
car
brutal.
and then let
Do
her.
you know how much I hate that? That's like the
Yeah,
worst. It's the worst. Sorry, but don't do that.
I know. I
It's
know.
not the
When I
same.
go
It's not the
there,
same. It's
it's
probably
not.
25% of what it actually is when you do that. Yeah.
Really? That's how much it.
Yeah,
Oh my
diminish is so
gosh.
bad. It's like taking all of our hard work and just trashing it.
So how do we get it to Ottawa? Okay, that's for. I'll let people know who in the world we're talking to first. Okay. Hi Ashley. Can you tell
Hi.
everyone who you are?
Um, my name's Ashley. I own Honey's Ice Cream in Toronto, a proud dog mom of Honey, the dog. And yeah, I'm not that you will see today, but I don't find myself to be that exciting.
I find you to be very exciting. Wait, Honey the dog, where did you find her? Him,
Her,
her?
she came into my life about a decade ago. I just saw her from Save Our Scruff is a organization in Toronto that deals with like uh, adoptable dogs. And yeah, she was just really cute. I met her. And then she came to live with me. And my husband and I are fully obsessed with her. So obviously, I named my business after her. And so, yeah,
Did you name her Honey?
I
Did she
did.
come with
Yeah.
that name?
Her name was Biscuits before. So sometimes we still call her Biscuits, but she doesn't respond to it. She didn't
Biscuits?
instantly. As soon as she came to live with me, maybe a week later, I tried to call her Biscuits and she was like, "Who dat?"
I'm, hey bitch, I'm
Yeah.
Honey.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, Biscuits is a good name. And I kind of like that you used to have a
Yeah.
bakery. And so her name was Biscuits, but then she was like, hey, like maybe she was your little, like, it's time to transition because she was like, I'm Honey. Okay, going back to Biscuits, or actually going back even before you owned a bakery, did you always know you wanted to be a small business owner,
I think
an
when
entrepreneur?
I look back, I there were signs when I was a kid. I really always wanted to say, I don't think scam is the right word, but I was always trying to like scam some money from strangers. So I'd make some kind of craft and then I'd go to all of my neighbors and try to sell them this like junky craft for $10 or something. And most of the time they did say no unless they felt bad for me. And then, but
Was there any?
I was trying to hustle really young.
You're like, I gotta make some money
Yeah.
here. Was there anything that you made that you were like, this is good, like this is worth the money I'm
No,
asking? Were you always, did you always know? No.
no, it was, I'm not saying that's like indicative of my life now, but
No, no, not at
I
all.
was like, I guess my time was worth it. You know what I mean? I was making some
Yeah,
craft paper reindeer or some pom poms were really big for me. But
cute. I asked because I'm actually not crafty. I'm creative, so I like to write. I've painted at one point. I love art and design, but when you give me a craft, I'll half-ass it, and I really don't enjoy it. And as a little kid, we had this Christmas thing in school where we had to make a craft at home and gift it to whoever we picked, like one of those where you all put your names in. And when I look back, I'm like, you little asshole. Like I put zero effort into it. I think I literally took like like a paper towel, like that the cardboard on the inside, and like just stuck things to it that were white and sparkly and was like, ah, it looks like I mean, I was the worst. And I think the person that gave me a craft, it was like she clearly put effort into it and like really liked what she did. And I was like, this isn't my wheelhouse. And I still to this day, a friend invited me over to make gingerbread houses one time. And after we would finish, she was like, well, you're a waste of gingerbread money. I'm like, I know, I just don't enjoy it.
Right.
I'm like, what's, yeah. Okay, so did you bake as a little kid? Because I baked as a little kid. Like I
Yeah.
always put my effort into that.
Yeah, I really liked baking as a kid. Making cookies was like my forte. So my mom was more of a cook. So she did try to bake, but I would take over that task.
What'd you like to make as a little kid?
Pies, I've always liked really making pies a lot. Or like peanut butter
Oh, like a
cookies.
double crust?
No.
Like a crust on the, just crust on the bottom?
Yeah, I love like a pecan pie or something like that. But so really, I like crust a lot, but I'm not a big double crust gal. I don't really like fruit pies that much. I think I just like a candy pie, like a pecan pie, like something really sweet. I really liked cookies. Yeah, like peanut butter cookies. I used to make these like lemon cookies. I had a couple of cookbooks when I was a kid. Like I had a cookie book. So just liked making things out of there.
Did you have that little baking oven? Remember when we were
No.
kids, there was that.
The easy
I
bake
didn't either, and I
oven?
wanted
No.
it.
No.
I wanted it so bad, but I didn't get it. Did you want it?
No, I had one that made, I can still smell it, but it made the gelatin worm or a bug. Like like you mixed this powder together with water and then you put it in a mold and it would make like a scorpion or something. That's the
Right.
easy bake oven setup that I had.
Those lucky devils with that easy bake oven. And I'm sure it didn't taste good, but it
It
looks
looked
good.
good.
And for my like 8-year old taste buds, it was probably
Yeah.
amazing. I used to come home from school. Yeah, that's true. I was creative in the kitchen always as well. I'd come home and my parents would get home from work because I was there. I was home, I don't know, by 2:30. And they'd get home at 4:35 and there'd be a full cake. And I'm like, what the? I just, like, seriously, like I loved baking and I still do. And I did have this dream one day of owning a bakery, but I think it was more this romanticized
Yeah.
idea because I probably knew myself well enough. I'm a hard worker, but bakery, hard worker, I feel like it's a different level. Confirm or deny?
I've never owned a different type of business before, but it's very hard.
Right.
Very, very hard. I don't know how hard other businesses are, unfortunately. I can confirm that owning a bakery is fucking hard.
So bakery and Honey's ice cream, same level
Yeah,
of work and
for
discipline. And
sure.
okay, and hours, same.
Yeah.
Okay. So you opened a bakery in Toronto. How old were you?
It was 2010. I started it right before my 27th birthday. And then like at like a farmer's market. And then we opened the brick and mortar in like December 2010.
How long were you doing farmers markets before you
Just
opened?
one summer, just to test the market. I think it's so important to be able at the time I didn't really like think about it in that way, but in retrospect, if you have an item that you are selling, so like a baked good or ice cream or like some kind of thing, like an actual object, I think it's really important to test the market and make sure that it's actually a sellable thing because your friends are always going to tell you that it's great. Nobody in your life is going to give you the same feedback that a stranger is going to give you, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it was really good to do that. And as soon as we knew that it was like viable, it gave us a lot of confidence to open the brick and mortar.
How did you know what was the sign at the farmers market that it was viable?
Oh, that people were coming back every week, like
Right.
specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's great.
Yeah.
What were you? It was vegan
Yeah.
always. right?
Yeah, and it was gluten free.
Are you Oh, vegan and gluten free. Are you vegan? Just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were making, was there a specific product or like the six different ones or what? I'm curious. I'm picturing you at 26 at this farmer's market. What was in front of you?
Um, we always had the supersonic cookies, which were like the cornerstone product. It was like a breakfast cookie. And then some muffins, some scones, I think at the time too, although that's not really, we didn't sell too much of that when we really got into business. But I would say like cupcakes for sure. It was definitely also in the cupcake era. Um,
Right.
and different variations of them like every week. But yeah,
And how long would you be baking and prep for the farmers markets?
it would take me probably like the whole week to recover and then start over again and bake enough because also I had a oven. I was just doing it in my apartment. I had
Right.
like two baking trays and a KitchenAid mixer. So it just wasn't, it's not very time efficient when you're doing it at home like that because you can only make 12 cookies at a time or 12 muffins at a time instead of 48
Yeah.
or 100.
And I think probably as people are walking through a farmer's market and you see someone sitting there with baked goods of whatever sort, it's important to think about that because you forget because you're just literally walking table by table and you're like, that looks good, this looks good. But like actually thinking about what like the effort put in behind, it's a lot. Okay, so you were like, people are coming back week after week. This is good. I think I'm onto something. And you're probably testing out different recipes and fine tuning your own flavors. The idea of opening your own, were you excited, scared, all of the things, stressed? Like, what were you feeling?
I think if so, there was like a few different places that we looked at. And when the place was wrong, it felt bad and stressful.
Okay.
As soon as the place was right, it felt easy and exciting.
I
Yeah.
agree. I felt the same way walking into a space. And sometimes I would still put an offer in because I don't know. I was like, well, I have to make something work. I have to find something. But the ones that always felt off, thankfully, didn't
Yeah.
work. And there was always an extra struggle. Yeah. So you opened just one location to begin
Yeah.
with, right? One bakery. A solo entrepreneur, or did you have a
No, I had a
partner? I don't
business
even
partner.
know. Okay, okay. So you opened together. How long did it take from the time that you saw it and you signed the lease to fit it up to open?
So we signed the lease for December 1st and we
Yeah.
opened on December 11th.
What?
We're
How?
very naive people at the time.
But even so, was it a bakery already?
No, and it's been my habit to outfit like retail stores essentially. I've never moved into a space in any business in any venture that was already a food business. I've always just like had
Okay.
to create the food business. Um, but yeah, I mean, like my business partner had with his old job connections with like equipment. So we were able to like get equipment right away. My dad was an electrician, so he did all the electrical work. Think that I don't know who our plumber was, but like we just turned it around very quickly. But it was the year 2010, very different time to live in Toronto. I think our first rent was not more than $1,800, including HST, including TMI. That's like everything.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
No, I can't.
Think of how beautiful the small business community would be if it was still, I sure it could go up a little bit with inflation, but anyway.
Yeah, for sure. I often try to think, would I be able to do this business again? Would I be able to start my career now as an entrepreneur? I had $5,000. That's all I had. It's
I
all
hope
my
my
business
husband's
partner
listening to
had. We
this.
both had $5,000
Yeah.
and we took out a loan together for not a lot of money. And then we leased all of our equipment, which is what I still do. I think it's really smart to help your business pay for your equipment.
Okay.
But yeah, like not a lot of money, less than 50 grand for sure. For sure.
I say I hope David is listening to this because we literally with my mom just had an argument and it's probably I mean it's 15 years later. But I was saying, imagine, the government gives big business a lot of flipping money. And I was like, if they could just give some money to small business. And he was like, but how much money do you need? And I said, do you know how many businesses were started with $5,000? And he was like, no. I'm like, no, seriously, they have been. The fact that you literally just said that sounds, and I get it, 2010. I can hear him now being like, it was 2010. But still, I just don't think that people understand how resourceful
Yeah.
people are with a small amount of money. And yes, you did get a loan, but it wasn't this outrageous loan. I think people think that in order to fund small business in a similar way that we fund these big businesses, it's like you'd have to give them so much money. I'm like, no, these people are
Yeah.
drivers. They are so
Yeah.
creative. Anyway, that's a whole other podcast, I think. But I love the truth of it. Like it was really bare bones and a lot of, well, family and friends support, I'm
Yeah.
sure, helped out. Yeah. Okay, so you signed the lease for December 1st, opened on the 11th, and still beyond getting the place get ready to go, you had things in the cases to
Yeah.
sell. When you own a bakery, because it's always been my romantic idea and like a Nora Ephron
Yeah, of
movie,
course.
what time do you get up and get there to have everything ready for when you actually open?
I think it's different for every bakery. I'm not like it, I was never a morning person. It took me probably 7 years to become a morning person. I like really beat it out of myself, but I couldn't fathom getting up like before 5 o'clock in the morning. So that's not the type of bakery I had. I had more of the dessert type of bakery, like an American style, like cupcake, cookies, muffin bakery. But if you have a bread bakery, if you're making croissants, yeah, you're getting up like my friend Logan, who owns Bad Attitude down the street from me. Um, he gets up at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning to go to work. I'm not doing that. I would never do that. So
Yeah, I could never.
it's just not my interest. But for me, like I could get up at 5 and scoot over and be there at 6 and start baking. And I forget when I think we opened at 10, or maybe 10, but we never opened early. Like it just wasn't, we didn't sell coffee. So it wasn't somewhere that anybody, it's like Honey's where we open at 2 o'clock because nobody comes before then. You know what I mean? And like people are always
Right.
like, why don't you open earlier? And it's nobody's here. Nobody wants ice cream before 2 o'clock. Just like nobody wants like cookies and muffins or wanted cookies and muffins and stuff like that. And butter tarts like before 9 or 10 a.m.
So when you'd get in, say 6 a.m. to start baking, was that a precious time? Because it was like quiet and especially in the winter, like outside is dark and you start to see the city come to life. Did you love that? Or were you too busy and in a zone?
I think that when I first opened the bakery, I wasn't thinking about that. I was literally just trying to survive. And after a few years, we opened a Kensington store in the market. And that's when I really started to enjoy more of that. Like going to the market in the morning was so nice. You could smell like we were next to this bagel place that like fired their own bagels. So you could smell like this like wood smoke in the morning. And like it was before anybody was out on the street. I used to ride a motorcycle. So it was like nice to also ride in the morning because there's no traffic. Um, yeah, like there was definitely a romantic time. It just wasn't at the very beginning.
Do you know, see where I go with a bakery? I'm like, tell me about listening to music. You're
Yeah,
like, you know how busy I was. So you, before you sold it, there was how many locations?
two.
Okay. And you sold it, remind me what year?
2017.
Was that a hard decision or a natural decision?
At the
Like easy.
time, it was a really easy decision. It
Okay.
was just like it just happened. It was like an epiphany that I had where I was driving home one day and I just realized I didn't need to own it anymore. It wasn't really bringing me joy anymore. So I was like, I don't need to actually own this business. Like, I don't need to have this forever. I think sometimes, at least I thought this, but I think it is old fashioned now. But I think when people think about starting a business or even like working in general, like sometimes I think you get caught in this idea, or maybe people just 40 up got caught in this idea where you're going to have this job for the rest of your life, kind of. I don't think kids feel like that now. I think that they're like, they know that careers can like change and like you can change, but it might sound silly, but like I just didn't know that I could not own the business anymore.
Doesn't sound silly. I resonate so strongly.
Yeah.
Same. Like I didn't even when I opened it, I used to own a couple of studios and my brother sat with me before I even signed a lease and he said, "What's your exit plan?" And I'm like, "What? This is my baby. I'm gonna open."
Yeah.
And he was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
"No.
Yeah.
Like what one day, like just start thinking like how you would exit." And like you can never plan for it, but it was really smart even though I still got lost in it, as I'm sure you did, like I thought, well, this is me and I'm pouring myself into it. I did have in the back of my head, like, oh, okay, maybe this doesn't have to be forever. And I don't think it was until COVID, so I'm impressed that you came to it before that, that I realized this isn't me. Like this business and me are separate. And not that I thought I'd run it forever because I used to teach spin classes. I mean, eventually my body would have given out, I'm
Right.
sure. But I couldn't understand how I would ever let it go. I just felt so strongly attached to it when you're not your business. Like you can still pour everything into it and still actually keep yourself separate, which not that like I'm like the gift of COVID, but COVID happened and actually that was a gift. Like that epiphany for me was. But you came to that on your own before having to be forced to be separate from your business because it's closed down because there's a global pandemic. Is it something that had been simmering in you for a bit, or was this just actually just one day you were like, wait, I could be something or do something different?
I think I created some distance because I started teaching Pilates, which is how you and I
Oh,
met.
right.
And it wasn't so much that was like a bridge. It was just like I had reached a point in my journey with the bakery where I could have a little bit of distance. I could have something for me. I could do a hobby that wasn't just like bakery related. I wasn't like drowning constantly. And I think that distance was great. And like, I will say, after I left the bakery, I had a identity crisis that I wasn't really anticipating because like you really do become your business. It was really how I got a lot of my worth in the world. Um, but yeah, I think that because I had something outside of the bakery, I could create a little bit of distance and also in that way realize how unhappy that I was.
Mm. And what a truly what a gift for you to come to that realization. Because I'm sure with whether it's small business or relationship or another job like an 8 to 4, 9 to 5, whatever, people trudge through, right? Where it's almost
Yeah.
like it's drilled into us too. Like my therapist one day said to me, like, you're a really good boulder pusher. It's like this old, I don't know if it's like a biblical fable about I think it's
Sisyphus?
Sisyphus who like
Yeah.
keeps pushing yes who keeps pushing this boulder and she was like, oh, you're so good, you're such a good little boulder pusher. And I'm like, what? And I said the same to my brother because he recently stepped away from a role he was doing. I'm like, oh, you and I are one and the same, we're really good little Sisyphuses. And he was like, what are you getting on with now? But it's true, it's like this thing we're like, we're gonna make this work. And I mean, life's hard, so sometimes when you're unhappy, you just think, well, life's hard. Like, what do you expect kind of deal.
Yeah.
So from the moment you realized I'm not happy here and there's something else for me, I don't know what it is, but I want to go find it, or I want some time for myself to even realize how long between that moment and when you sold it.
As I'm sure you are aware, it takes a very long time to sell a business.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I think the short answer is probably a year.
Oh, oof, okay. And you sold
Between
it.
like
Did your business?
my feeling and expressing that feeling and getting a lawyer and expressing more feelings and then finally signing papers and being gone. That's quite a long journey.
Did you sell it to your business
I
partner
did.
or to another? Yeah, okay. And then you took, so is that when you moved to Ottawa, or did you take some time in Toronto
I moved to
after selling?
Ottawa. It dovetailed because like Dave, my now husband, he finished school. He was getting his PhD, so he came back like that summer, the summer after I sold it. And we've been dating like for years. I've known Dave since I was 23. And he came back from school and then we spent the summer together, but then he got a job in Ottawa. And I no longer needed to be in Toronto. So I had a little bit of freedom. So I decided to pack it up. And Honey and I went to Ottawa with Dave.
And you end up being here for how long? Remind
Nine
me.
months.
Right, which is when I met you. So I'm really glad you had that 9 month stint. What? Okay, I'm going to back it up for a hot second. You sold it, everything got signed. I want to know what went through Ashley's head and body when that legal document was signed. Can you take me back to that moment?
I think it was just probably like relief. Obviously, it's been a really long time. So it's hard to
Mm,
it's hard to know at this moment.
right.
But relief, but also like fear, right? What's next? And like you take your financial security out from under you and sell something that is your namesake. You know what I mean? And that's hard and weird in a way because that like baby that you love is like still out there, like existing in the world. I did have a moment before selling it where I went there to the first location and did a walkthrough one night. And I had a really good think about it and felt it in my body. I go, you know what I mean? If something, I can go by feeling pretty well. I trust myself a lot, and I think that's very helpful. Um, but I just felt like I was doing the right thing and that it was time to say goodbye and move on. And so I didn't really have any trepidation about it.
Oh, another gift. And you know what? Sometimes, I'm sure in that year process from recognizing it and going through everything to get to the other side of that, which was selling it and legally having that document signed, probably if your year was any like similar in any way to mine, there was moments where like, why isn't this done yet? But I think the gift of that time is it allows you to stand in that decision and then still toy with the idea of, well, maybe I still own it. Okay, maybe I buy it. Okay, maybe this. Okay, maybe. So I think after I looked back when everything was said and done, I'm like, oh, I got to actually live in every scenario with my body and feel how that
Yeah.
feels, which is why when for me also it was done, I was so sure of the decision. And it felt like even though I had similar thing of you, or like that was me and who am I now, but I didn't question my decision at all. I'm like, this was the right move. This was the right move.
Yeah.
But sometimes that length of time really does help solidify that for you. Okay, so you took how long? Did you take time off? I don't even know actually. Before I asked you how long you took off, did you?
Well, I was like teaching Pilates by that point. So I was like
Oh, right.
teaching fitness classes and having a lot of fun with that. I loved it. And it really it changed me. It made me more, I guess, like less shy, for lack of a better word. Like I'm naturally a very shy person. And I think I can come off as being really aloof because of that. But teaching really brings you out of your shell. You have to talk to a room of like 30 to 50, maybe sometimes people, and guide them through movement and be really clear with what you're saying, but also engaging. And yeah, it's a fine balance when you're teaching a class, especially when you're trying to do it well and you're not just calling it in, or when you're
Hmm.
trained really well to, yeah, be engaging and be thoughtful. And there is an element of having to be outgoing, even if you're not really an outgoing person.
Yeah, I think people assume I'm very outgoing, which in a way I am, but I'm the same way actually when I get in front of a class when I used to teach, especially when it was brand new. I would literally go into we had a women's bathroom, a men's bathroom, and then an all gender bathroom, and I would go into that one and I'd be like, "Okay, you got this. You got this." Even though it was mine, and I just yeah, I'm very comfortable with a small group of people. I'm very like I could come to your house tomorrow and sit with you and Dave, even though I've actually not met your husband, and have the nicest evening and not be nervous about it at all. If you were like, come to my Christmas party and I only knew you, I'd be
Right,
like, yeah, absolutely. Because I'm like, oh, I'm sure everyone around Ash is so
right.
lovely. But I would be like, oh God, yeah, I like a small group. I love it. So having 30 people, yeah, I get it. And I eventually started to get so comfortable when I would know people. So I would have people that if half the class was full of people I knew because I got to know them through the
Yeah,
business, oh, I would just feel so relaxed because it just felt like I was going to hang out on your couch
yeah,
with you because we just have that back and forth. As you know, when you get to know the people that come to your classes, you get to really care for them. And man, I love a human. Like I find humans so
yeah,
dynamic and fascinating, and I'm endlessly curious about them, which is why I wanted to do a podcast because I just find us so precious in all the things we do. Like in the ways we want to avoid things, or the ways we dive into
yeah.
things, or the ways we try new things, or what makes you want to cocoon at home. Like I want to know. So you were teaching Pilates full time.
Yeah.
Like how, well, I mean, I say full time, but pretty much full time,
Yeah, it was
right?
full time. I
Okay.
mean, after I left the bakery, I was full time.
And then,
Whatever that means as a teacher, it's the
yeah, full
most that
time
I
for
could do,
you.
basically.
Yeah. And you were still teaching when you moved here
Yeah.
because I feel like I met you because Katie and Reg, who own Victoire here in Ottawa, knew you
Yeah.
because they had Victoire in Toronto.
Yeah. And I was trying to do, or I did do pop ups in Ottawa. Ottawa was so hard. Like here, I had obviously like a community, but here, Pilates was whatever is happening in Ottawa now. I know that you guys have whatever Pilates now. You didn't
It's
have
really
it.
taken
You
off
didn't
now.
have it then.
No.
And I was like trying to get jobs so hard. And people were looking at me like I had three heads because all that y'all were doing was yoga or Pilates that was like rehabilitative. Um,
Yes.
but it
Yeah.
wasn't what it is like now. And so I just felt really lost. I made the mistake and I really feel strongly about this, but I don't think that you should uproot or move your life for your boyfriend. I think you should only really do it for your husband or wife
Mm.
or I just think that I love Dave so much. Like, obviously, we're married, but like it could have gone sideways for me. It luckily didn't, but I just think that it's such a huge ask to ask somebody to move their life. And I just really knew that Ottawa wasn't going to work out for me, but I did it anyways because I
Mm.
just love this man. Um, thank God it worked out in both ways. My career is fine and my love life with David is fine. But both struggled a lot because of that move. And who knows
Right.
what would have happened if I hadn't have moved. But yeah, ladies, if you're listening, we only move for our husbands.
I mean, I moved to Ottawa with a boyfriend and then we did get married, but then we got
Right.
divorced
Okay.
shortly thereafter. And you know what's funny? My mom was just in town for a week and we were out for a walk the other day. And she said, I get that, getting married young and getting divorced a year later was difficult for you. I'm like, yeah, that was not the best time. But she's like, it got you to Ottawa, and I don't know that you would have moved. And it's funny. I did when I finished my master's. One of my friends, one of my best friends, Jill, was like, let's move to Ottawa when we're finished this program. I'm like, sure. And then she got back with her boyfriend and ended up staying in Newfoundland. So I ended up going to Calgary because my brother's like, no, don't go to Ottawa. It's too hot. That's what he said to me. And I listened. Oh my God, my brother. And so me and another like best friend of mine, we moved to Calgary together, and I hated it. I'm sure Calgary's lovely. My brother's still there, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Definitely not that time. And so I moved back and then eventually came to Ottawa. And I'm like, sure, my boyfriend got me to Ottawa, but maybe there's something that was always pulling me here. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then I met my Dave here. Okay. When did the idea of honeys first get planted? Honeys being the most delicious, flippy. I don't know how you do it. I think about it daily, and I don't even live in the vicinity to get it. But
My
when I'm
God.
going to my one of my good friends lives in Prince Edward County, and anytime we go, she has her fridge stocked of honeys for me.
I
Like,
love that.
I just love it,
Yeah.
Ashley. So, when did the idea for it first plant into your brain, body, DNA?
I always really liked, like, ice cream is probably my number one food forever since I can remember. I don't think that's extraordinary. I think a lot of people's favorite food is ice cream. Even at the bakery, I got a soft serve machine because I was just really, I had no concept at that moment about how to make ice cream, but I really wanted to have it in my life a lot. So we ended up getting a soft serve machine at our Kensington, and I would just crush soft serves like every day. I was crushing a soft serve. I loved it so much. But
Like vegan, or at the time were you eating dairy?
no, I mean, that bakery was vegan. I am vegan. The
So the
soft serve
soft
was
serve was
vegan.
vegan.
Yeah.
How did you figure out how to make it? I
I
don't
bought
get
it
it.
as a powder from America and added water to it.
And you were just like crushing it, serving out cookies, and I love it.
But yeah, I didn't even honestly consider making my own mix. That was far too advanced at the time for me. But so yeah, I really liked the idea of it. And I think it's really like aesthetically pleasing. It's very easy to run a social media account for a business that has a product that people naturally like looking at. I don't have to
Hmm.
do too much arm twisting. So it was just always like there. And then when I was in Ottawa, I had this idea or I started a small business called Tiger Tiger.
Yes. Oh, I loved
Yeah,
that. I
I know.
forgot.
Tiger Tiger was cute. Again,
Yes.
really before Ottawa's time, right? Like now there's like little convenience stores, like cool variety stores are like everywhere. I think also the pandemic really ushered in a lot of that too, because it's just a very pandemic. This was like before the pandemic that I thought of it, but it was very pandemic friendly. So then after 2020, you see a lot of these like bodega style places open. So Tiger
Hmm.
Tiger was like that. I wanted it to be like what I would call a modern variety store. So like some like beauty stuff, like cute beauty stuff, maybe flowers, maybe smoothies, just like stuff that like we all that's like in your
Hmm.
neighborhood so that you don't have to go to all these other like little stores, like bringing in great baked goods, bringing in great breads, looking around for the best of what the local scene had to offer and bringing that into one location. And one of the things I really wanted to do was to make ice cream in the brick and mortar in the space. And so it was like on my mind. And then once I moved back to Toronto, thinking so much about it. I would even in Ottawa and in Toronto, I was like looking at spaces. I looked at spaces in Ottawa for this. And there was a couple spaces that I really liked, but it just wasn't it just didn't feel good.
Yeah.
And when I moved back to Toronto, There was a space that I saw, and I remember telling Dave, I just don't know where like the ice cream making part of it would go. And he was like, it was just like, why don't you just make the ice cream? Like you keep talking about the ice cream. Why don't you just focus on the ice cream? And it was like this light bulb moment where I was like, yeah, it's like I'm trying to do I had Tiger already. It was a online store. Um, and it was fun for that moment. It was good. It taught me about how to make a website. It taught me more about like the photography, like how to do
Right.
like how to up my photography skills for product photography. But he was right. It was like I didn't want to fuss around with all that other stuff. I really just wanted to make ice cream. And so after that, I started really working on my recipe, like my base recipe. And I tested it every day for months. And it's like such a bad time. But I have this like mantra, I guess, that I still use now, which is this is what it costs. Like
Hmm.
this hard feeling and this like tough time, this and like just having to just do something over and over again. It's so grueling. But I said to myself every day, like, this is what it costs. This is what it costs to have the business and to have the ice cream that you want to have. You're not going to get
I
it
love
by
that.
half-assing it. And it's just not who I am as a person. I could never have made this business if I didn't fully back the ice cream. Obviously, it's just, it had to
Hmm.
be like the best that I could possibly make.
I think just pausing for a second, and this is what it costs, is so beautiful, direct, honest, important. Because even now, like podcast, I don't know, whatever, in yeah, sometimes I'm like, what am I doing with this? And I'm coaching and I'm writing and all of the pieces of this business that I'm building that I see in 2 years from now actually threaded together is this slow burn. And I keep thinking slow burn, like let it be a slow burn, because my general way of being in the world was like race full speed ahead, and I'm really working on not doing that because that doesn't feel good, and I'm not in a race to get anywhere actually. And I like the so your my slow burn is your this is what it costs, and I think it's really important for other people to hear when they're trying to do something, create something, work towards something that's not immediate.
Mhm.
It's okay that it's this process of you figuring it out day to day to day, because we see on social media this end product, and you don't necessarily see Ashley sitting there testing this formula for how many days, and it doesn't even matter how many days. It's just you tested it for as many days as you needed to till you were like, this base is exactly what I
Yeah.
wanted, maybe even better than I dreamed it would be. And I think that's really, it's just such sound advice. I love it. And so you got this base, which I'm guessing it's the base, right? Because it's the base of all your
Yeah.
flavors. And when you were like, yes, this is it, what is the first flavor you added?
My first flavor is peanut butter and saltine.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. It's like my fave still. I love peanut butter.
Yes,
And
saves.
so peanut butter saltine is like my number one. The first versions that I made had like weed in them because I used
Oh,
to love getting high.
yeah.
So whenever I eat it now, even still, I'm always like, is this too much? Because I would make these like weed ice creams for me and my friends. And then I would forget that they had weed in them and I would eat the whole thing. And then I'd be like, whoa, like, why am I feeling so weird right now? Yeah. So peanut butter saltine really reminds me of that, to be honest.
So why did you stop putting? Were you planning to sell it with weed
No,
in it
no,
or
it was
no?
just a
That was
novelty
just for
for
you. Okay,
me
fair.
and my like pals.
Yeah,
And
fun,
then my pals were like,
fun.
stop putting weed in it because we want to eat the whole fucking thing. Stop.
Yeah, yeah. It would be a dangerous thing for me to have any edible of any kind in there because how do you stop? It's so flippin' good. How do you come up with the flavors? They're so. Wait, when I got to my girlfriend's, it was the springtime. I think it's a flavor you always have, but correct me if I'm wrong. It was the raisin toast. Is it
Oh
raisin
yeah,
bread or
that was
raisin toast?
our one of our April flavors.
I open up the fridge. I don't remember which one I requested because yeah, you have new flavors or you have like flavors of the month, but you
Yeah.
have like flavors that are there all the time. And I write her. I'm like, hey, here's the flavor. Go get it. 'Cause she lives in Toronto and then drops it her house and outside of Prince Edward County. And because Jen is the most generous woman in the world, I'll be like, just get me one container of whatever. And she goes and gets me. And there was a few there, but I wanted to try the Easter egg
Oh
one.
yeah,
That's what I
cream egg.
wanted.
Yeah.
Delish. But she had the raisin toast one and the coffee with
Yeah,
freckles or
yeah.
coffee freckles.
Coffee is crazy. The coffee is crazy.
It is nuts. And the raisin toast was so like soothing for my soul because that's a very Newfoundland thing,
Yeah.
raisin bread. And so she was like, we had to because she's from Newfoundland as well. And I'm like, oh, so what I love about your flavors is that I'm always pulled to something. But then the ones that are even unassuming to me, like raisin toast or coffee with freckles, I like coffee, but yeah, I'm like, well, I want to try this one. They're all so good. And the ones that I'm like unassumed or they're unassuming to me, I'm like, no, those are my favorite. Like, holy crap. Like the berry
Yeah,
crumble,
yeah.
that flippin' berry crumble. Gosh, it's so good. Okay, and then the pies. Tell me about those pies. I'm so sad I don't live closer when you put out those pies.
Yeah, they're really something. I love them. And I think they really speak to my past as a baker and a bakery owner
Right.
because work year as a bakery owner is very different than my work year as an ice cream business owner. And
Oh,
so when I opened the bakery, you're slow in the summer. Like every restaurant business is like mostly slow in the summer. August is brutal for bakeries and
right.
restaurants. And then you get Thanksgiving, then you get Christmas, then you get Easter. Huge. Valentine's Day, huge as like a bakery owner. Huge holidays that you're working around the clock to get it all out for people. The orders are like huge. It makes your year like it's like really just a great boost for your business. And then as an ice cream store, you're really like November and January are my slowest months. I'm very busy in August. It's one of my busiest months. So it's just everything's flipped around. But because I love still doing like the holidays, so we just do ice cream pies, but we have pre-orders for Thanksgiving. We do a big thing for Christmas. Easter is also really busy. Valentine's Day again, because we're focused on them like a bakery owner would be. Do you know what I mean? I think that a lot
Cool.
of
Yeah.
ice cream business owners focus just on summer, but also a lot of those businesses close in the wintertime. I don't close.
Yeah. Yeah.
My staff is the basically the same size in the summer as it is in the winter. And I have to carry all of those people through the winter. So the only way that we're going to do that is by making money. And the only
Yeah.
way we're going to
Right.
do that is by being creative and like trying to talk people and coerce people into getting ice cream in the wintertime. Yeah.
Coerce.
So
Coerced.
pies,
Consider.
pies are great for that because they're like a show-stopping thing and it's a pre-order. So you're getting those orders ahead of time. Like Thanksgiving is typically at like the beginning of October. It's a great way to make October rent is to have pre-orders that start at the end of September. You know what I mean? So it's just like
Right.
there's a lot of thoughtfulness going into the off season.
That's why I mean, it's doing so well. Like you have what, two
Yeah,
locations
yeah.
now?
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
But I'm not done with the
Yeah,
flavors.
sure.
How
Right.
do you come up with these creations?
That like flavors in general, I feel are my strong suit as a food business owner. I'm not great at everything. I'm not the best baker. I'm not the best ice cream maker. I'm not the best at working cash. There's a lot of people that work at Honey's that are better at their jobs than I am for sure. But my main job is flavor development. So obviously I do a lot more than that, but it's what I like the most. Um, and so it's my focus. Like I'm coming from a nostalgic wheelhouse. That's like where I live in my flavor development. So
Mm.
if something occurs to me, if I read a phrase, if somebody mentions something to me, if I see something, I put it in my notes. Because even
Mm.
just the sound of something will trigger a flavor. So if just some kind of turn of phrase, like if it just sounds good, I can make a flavor based on that. And I try to, I think too, like we're this year turning 5. And I think as you develop more and more, like we do 3 flavors every month and they're not always repeats. Like 50% of them are probably new flavors that we've never done before in the year. So you have to start like being a little bit more, even more creative than you were like in year 1.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I think it's when you're brainstorming and you're writing down like all of these ideas. And the further that you go along in this brainstorm, the more unique ideas start to pop out. It's like that, where it's like after 5 years, like we've people will be like, "Have you ever thought about doing X flavor?" Yeah, I have. Definitely have. I'm so sorry to everybody, but every flavor that anybody has asked me about or told me about their idea, I know. Sorry, it
You're
sounds
like,
so rude, but it is. I have it already in my notepad. We might do it in 3 years. We might do it next year. Maybe we already did it, but rest assured, babe, like if it is a flavor, we have it like somewhere.
yeah,
Um,
you've thought of it.
And my staff are also like, they're very good because they are plugged into the culture. So they know what I'm looking for. They know what the customers are looking for. They know what the customers like a lot, especially like my front of house staff. So they'll often recommend things based on that are great ideas. Like they're honestly like my greatest asset for that sort of thing as well. I develop a recipe because I have a small ice cream maker up in my apartment, and I'll test the flavor and then I bring it down to the shop and we all try it. And my staff give me notes. They're also the only people that I will accept notes from. And I don't mean that in a ego way or like a rude way. It's just that like most people are not constructive with their feedback. A lot of people will just be like, I don't like it or I do like it. And it's okay. We need to delve a little deeper here. What don't you like about it? My staff are very good, back of house or front of house. They're both very good at saying what a flavor needs and saying it to me instead of just kind of
Priceless.
like beating around the bush or being like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's just my staff are like dancing around and being like, oh, yeah, we nailed it. That's
Right.
very rare. Like, more often than not, they're going to tell me, like, it needs more of this, it needs less this, it's too this, it's not enough this. And that's also very helpful for me because my reality is a little bit skewed because when I make a flavor, even if I just want it to work so bad that sometimes I'll overlook some of its flaws, even though I know that it's flawed. And so it's also very helpful to have a mirror that,
Yeah.
and have somebody be like, it's not where you need it to be. It's not where we need it to be.
And can I just say this to you? Because you own this by yourself, right?
Yeah.
You're a sole proprietor. So I don't know that you get to have any validation ever. So for you to get to create an environment in which your team feels like that you value their input, so they give it to you, and that you slowly let them learn the ways in which you need to hear feedback so you can perfect something. That's great leadership. That's great. Like, that's, it's not easy to do
No,
sometimes, especially it's something that really is coming out of your own head. It's not like you have a business partner to bounce everything off of, who you can be completely direct and honest
right.
with. So yeah, I think that's amazing. That's great. It's because of you that they can do that.
Yeah, it's
So
like a collaborative environment that we've got.
the
Mhm.
best. Is there a flavor that you made that you loved but other people did not take to it?
There's been a bunch. There's like something
Yeah.
like a an everything bagel.
Oh yeah.
Like
How did that one
it's
do?
great, but I like it more than most people like it because I'm also like I eat a lot of ice cream. Yeah, if I didn't eat a lot of ice cream and I went to the store, yeah, I'd probably just get
Yeah.
like a peanut butter chocolate situation. Whatever's peanut butter chocolate
Yeah.
is usually what I'm getting at an ice cream store. But because I am eating our ice cream every day, something like an everything bagel is like very interesting to me. I'm like, oh, finally something
Mm-hmm.
like different. Or we did a holiday dinner this year ahead of
Oh,
Thanksgiving, which is like mashed potato ice cream with candied stuffing and cranberry swirl. And it's obviously that's not super popular, but
right. But you were like,
um,
I'm gonna do this.
but it's very interesting to me. I will say I'll never release anything that I don't think is good.
Yeah.
Sometimes people will be like, with the strange flavors, they'll be like, oh, is it good? And it's yes, it is like so good, but it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, for sure.
it's definitely you have to be into it to like it, I think.
But your absolute favorite of all the flavors you've ever created, is it still peanut butter saltine?
It's just too hard. Like I like peanut butter saltine. It's like my number one, but it's also for like my because it's like my
Yeah.
firstborn. But I really love like creamsicle that we do in the
Oh yeah.
summertime. I really love the turtles ice cream that we do in December. It's just like really up my alley. Like I'm a real sweet tooth. So anything that is like sweet things compounding is like very good for me.
I also love to see your flavor combinations that partner you with other businesses. Like, I
Mm.
think you partner with your friend's bread
Yeah,
company,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
his bakery down the street, right? What's the name of the bakery
Bad
again?
attitude.
Bad Attitude. I love seeing that. I love a collaboration. I love businesses getting together. Like, one of my favorite things we did in getting to know Katie and Reg at Victoire was we had Beyonce put out her Lemonade album. So we did a class around the album, a theme, and then we brought everyone across the road and they had lemonade, cocktails, and we
That's
just
so
shopped.
cute. I
And
love that.
I just like, who thinks to pair an after spin class when you're drenched in sweat with going across the street to try and clothes? But it worked because it's the same community of
Yeah.
people who want to support small business. And so for businesses to get together in a unique way, I'm like, I love to do it and I love to see it.
Yeah, we've collabed with a bunch of smaller businesses just to build those relationships.
Okay.
But yeah, like Logan will obviously his baked goods are insane. So we'll always like we've done cinnamon bun ice cream, we've done almond croissant ice cream. He's also one of my besties, so it's easy. And then
Cool.
right now we have a collab with a coffee place called Ideal. Really like they've been around for 25 years. I love them. They have a coffee called Prince of Darkness. And so it's like
Love it.
perfect for an October collab. Molly's Market, we did a really successful one in the summer. Molly's Market is a gluten-free bakery that's a little bit north of the city. And she's incredible and like such a go-getter small business owner. Love chatting with her. And so we have a lot of gluten-free customers, even though the ice cream shop is not gluten-free specifically. But it was great to kind of team up with Molly because her stuff is a dedicated bakery, unlike our kitchen. It's not dedicated. Finally, we could have an ice cream that was like celiac safe for people, and it was such a hit. So,
Oh,
yeah.
Do you make the ice creams at both locations, or is one of them more
So
the
have
kitchen?
we have a bit of a complicated setup, but we have Dundas, which is like the hub, and Dundas is my first location. So we've got a kitchen there and retail there. And then we have Leslieville, which is in the east end of Toronto, and it's just retail. So
Oh, okay.
we make everything for Dundas and Leslieville at the Dundas store. And then we also
Wow.
have a production facility in Parkdale, which is quite large, that we just do our wholesale. So that's just for our wholesale
Oh,
business.
and then you wholesale all like within how many kilometers?
I don't know, but we go down to St. Catharines and then
Oh, okay.
north to Barrie and then east to Prince Edward County.
And how do you, I mean, obviously you have refrigerated trucks, but did you have to buy the trucks or can you lease
No, I
them?
bought the truck.
Oh, you did. Okay. You're amazing. That's so appreciative of you. What's on the horizon for Honeys?
Honey. I think I think that we're just in a good position to continue growing. We've been growing steadily since year one.
Congratulations,
Thank
buddy.
you. It's
Congratulations.
been like,
Yeah,
honestly,
that's,
this year was the toughest year, as I'm sure
oh,
most people are aware of, especially in the food business. It fucking sucked this year.
okay.
Really hard, hardest in my career since 2010. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Ingredients are not. I'm
No.
like, obviously, I love
Mm.
my staff. I would, I do spend the most on my staff, but I do it happily. But it is a reality that like staff costs are more than they've ever been. Rents are more than they've ever been. Everything is just more and more. And
Yep.
it's okay, except for the fact that customers like I we did in the spring, it was quite cool. So our business is so weather dependent that when you have a really cold spring like we did in Toronto, like it didn't really get warm until the end of June, early July. And or it didn't get warm enough for us, but we start our season in May. So May is when
Hmm.
all the staffing like gets ramped up and we just start going into summer mode. But because we were doing that, it really like, there was not enough customers. It was just like a tough month. And so you're questioning yourself constantly, being like, am I doing this right?
Yeah.
And one of my ingredients went from $300 for 25 kilograms to over 1,000.
What?
And that's like,
From what? Over 5 years or just
no,
like,
overnight, because there was a very poor crop for cocoa butter this
oh,
year. So chocolate has gone up, cocoa butter has gone up. These things won't come back down. Like they're not coming back
yeah, right.
down. It's crop related. There's a lot of things like that it's related to. One of the things is global warming, which is also not going to go away. So there's just a lot of like realities that made this year particularly more tough than usual. So last year, I opened my second location and the production facility. So it was a big growth year for Honeys 2024. And 2025 has been a like hang on tight kind of year. And just see how the new location is doing and see how everything is doing. And are we able to like now build a foundation with these essentially two new locations and then grow from there? So I think that we've done a good job this year of a line and building that foundation. And so I would like to expand a little bit cautiously into more wholesale next year. But I don't really know the CPG space that well, which is consumer packaged goods. That's like getting into grocery stores in a bigger way.
Right.
I deal with independents. They order from me directly. I deliver to them directly. They pay me directly. But when you're getting something like a distributor, which is what our next step would be, the customer orders from them, the distributor orders a bunch from you, and the distributor deals with um, payment and delivery and like all of this. But they obviously take a good portion as well. Like when you go to Loblaws, for instance, and let's say like Heinz ketchup on the shelf, Heinz has paid millions of dollars to be on that shelf.
Mm.
Millions of dollars just to be on the shelf. They have paid, not Loblaws. Heinz has paid to
Right.
be on that shelf. Honey's ice cream doesn't have millions of dollars to be on a shelf. So you just have to figure it out in a small way. But there are a lot of costs. Like even small guys, like I might have to pay $25,000 to be in a store. That's not something I've ever had to do. You know what I mean? Like it's just that's the reality of
Oh.
like products in a grocery store is that product is paying money to be there.
But if you go into a small, locally owned,
No, you're not
you
paying any money to be
you
there.
don't pay.
No.
Yeah.
So
Right.
like
It's
all
these
of these like
bigger.
independent in Ottawa, like an Urban Spice, for instance, like
Yeah.
they're using distributors, but they don't, they're probably also dealing direct with a lot of people. I'm sure they are.
Okay.
But yeah, there's just a lot of like all you hear about moving into this new space that we're looking at is all the nightmares and the missteps
Yeah.
and how much money you could lose. So we're moving cautiously. But that is the next
There's
step.
someone that I there's someone that I met in Prince Edward County at a farmer's market. She owns the Eat My Shortbread. Do you know her?
No.
Have you met her? Oh, I'm going to send you. I took a photo of her business card
Cute.
because if she's listening, I'm like, I think she'd be great on the podcast. She was so lovely. And she, but I don't want to, I'm not even going to tell you what I think she did because I could be wrong. So I'll let her talk to you. But I think she'd be a great person to talk to because I think she's got the experience of being in bigger stores and now she's pulling back, I think.
Mhm.
And anyway, I'm just going to, just to remember to send you her information. And those shortbreads are
I love
out
shortbread.
of this world.
Shortbread.
It's called Eat My
That's
Shortbread.
cute.
It is when we first got them, myself and my two girlfriends were there, and as we were driving away, we opened a package. I think I got like an oatmeal cookie or yeah, it was oatmeal date. It's so good. And one of them had shortbread, and I bit into the cookie, and I was like, we've made a drastic mistake by not getting more cookies. And then Lisa went home that night because we drove back to Ottawa, and she got on the flight back to Newfoundland. And the first text the next morning was like, "I've arrived safe and sound. Oh my God, those shortbread cookies." Like, I'm like, yeah, we made mistakes. So I went back this for
That's
a
so
wedding two
cute.
weeks ago. And I like was at her table at the farmer's market and she was like, "Hello." I'm like, "We made mistakes."
That's
I
so
was
funny.
like,
We're
"How
getting
long
all
do
of
these bags
them.
last?" Yeah. Okay, before we hop off, because I know you have a million things to do. How are you? You just got married.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
And then you did a wedding cake flavor, of course, because what a beautiful representation of like that move in your
Yeah,
life. But how are you? How was that?
it was great. Dave and I have been on such a long journey together,
Mm.
and we are so close. Um, and we've always been really close, and it was really nice to do the damn thing, but also just to, so we eloped, which I highly recommend. And I think it's fine. Have a, like, if you're in the season of life to have a big wedding, do it. But the year prior, both of us lost our dads. Like, we weren't really in the mood to have a wedding. And so we just wanted to get married. And we'd been engaged for a couple of years. So it just felt like time. And even though not everybody understands elopement, it's okay. I do get it, but it really was so perfect for him and I to mark that moment in our lives, just the two of us, and to really lock in and make that vow to one another. And I will say that we're in our 40s. Like we've been together for a long time. He's always been my person. We've always been really dedicated. However, being married, does feel different. And we always joke now that now it's legal.
Yeah.
We signed legal papers, so we're not going anywhere. But yeah, I feel really happy. And yeah, we're just like very in love, like again and again and again.
I love that.
Thank
Congratulations. And
you.
I'm really sorry. I know we chatted a little bit when your dad died, but I'm really sorry about you both lost your dads
Yeah.
close to each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is dreadful. And yeah, a real different experience of grief that until you're there,
You don't know until you're
yeah, you
there
don't
for
know.
sure. Life altering for
Nope.
sure.
Yeah, yeah, and running a business and getting married and I mean, I still think they're there, right? I still think they're right here. So I think he's watching you and very proud of you, I'm sure. Did your dad did your dad have a flavor of ice cream that he loved that you made?
But I remember that. So my dad, I made mixed nuts in, and not for him, but it was definitely like an homage. Like it was when he was alive, but it was like he just
Yeah.
really was a nut guy. You know, when you just get like a canister of like nuts.
Yeah.
Um,
My father-in-law loves a canister of mixed
my
nuts
dad
too.
was always
Yes.
like, "Oh, you got to take this away from me."
Yeah.
Very bad. Mixed nuts is like probably really up there in my top 5 favorite flavors. But I just remember so my dad didn't really get it. Like he never really got it. And that's okay. I think sometimes your parents don't understand what you're doing. Um,
Yeah.
I brought my ice cream and I brought a competitor's ice cream home with me because I needed him to see the difference. And I was like, okay, first try this ice cream and then I want you to try my ice cream. Because he had tried mine and he was like, very good, honey. Like, very good. And then I was like, okay, try this one and then try it. And then he did that. And he actually had this moment where he was like, whoa, this is so different. And you're very good at what you do. I was like, yes, thank
You
you.
got the dad win. I love
Yeah.
it. You're such a I mean, and at the end of every podcast, I'm like, I love you, but I truly do. Like, I just think I'm so glad we met in Victoire, pulling back what did they push back
Yeah. Yeah. When they would push all the
the
racks out of the
clothing
way so that
racks
I could teach people Pilates there.
and you like handing out those exercise balls
Yes.
and we were pulsing and your playlists were always, I loved
Thank
them.
you. That was my
But yeah,
part.
I'm
The
really,
playlist was the best part.
oh, you were you're excellent at
Thank
it.
you.
But yeah, since you've come into my life, I find you like you're so creative and I love watching what you do and your passion for what you do, whether that's teaching Pilates, baking, Tiger, that curating of all of those things with that online store was incredible. And now watching you with Honeys and seeing you grow, I find you very like a breath of fresh air in that you're very
Oh,
honest.
thank
Like you're
you.
like, yeah, here's how it is. And you do it in spite of how difficult it is because it's what you want to do. And you'll do it until you're like, here's a little whisper from the universe that it's time to try something new. You're not like, this is who I am now. So I just find it, yeah, you're an inspiration. So
Oh,
thanks
thank
for
you. And
chatting.
thank you so much for
Yeah.
inviting me on your show.
Oh, well, thanks for saying yes. I love you. Come to Ottawa. And have you done babka flavor?
Yeah, actually, in September, we did a vodka flavor.
Right. That's right. Okay. I gotta get myself there. Oh my God. I got it. Why haven't we moved to Toronto? All right. Thank you.